What did you think this new Echo show that just came out? Echo has been a character that I've been reading for 20 years, right? And the MCU, the live action people, it's been 20 minutes. Like, they have not had the time with Echo. The first 3 episodes, they had used up all of their budget. Yeah,
I mean, they got like the general foundation of her correct, but they got her power set completely wrong.
I have a big issue with that because I think her powers are so cool in the comics. Echo was not the thing that I enjoyed about this show most. What is it about her?
Well, nope, she's got hashtag powers. Let's not forget. Hashtag, you're healed. Hashtag.
That line of, it's your ancestors that echo through you. And I was like, that's the reason she's called Echo.
They've already effed things up.
Shoff, the latest MCU show is done. Echo is out, all 5 episodes. What did you think? This new Echo show that just came out. That good?
It wasn't great, but I never expected it to be great. I think I've just kind of gotten used to Marvel being decent.
I hope Marvel does get back to that point where it is must-see TV. Like, when you have a new Marvel show, I want to be able to say, Shoff, did you see Echo?
Right.
Versus, hey, you see Echo? It was all right. I don't think the 5-episode length helped this show because I think if it had gone, let's say 8 episodes, 12 episodes, they would have had more to develop, more time to develop some of the side characters, more time to develop the Echo. Hopefully we would have seen more Daredevil. We would have seen more Kingpin. I felt like it was just starting to get going, and then, all right, 5, you're done. Like the last episode, the resolution felt so quick to me. I was like, oh, that's it? It's over? And I was left with the same feeling of when they announced this show. I said, why? Why does Echo need her own show when she was only briefly set up in Hawkeye? Now, I have the background as a comics reader because she came out in 1999. So Echo has been a character that I've been reading for 20 years, right? And the MCU, the live action people, it's been 20 minutes. Like, they have not had the time with Echo to be like, oh, that's a character I love. Like, think about if this was Steve Rogers, like if you had a Steve Rogers show, people would be like, yeah, well, I'm invested in this guy. It's Chris Evans. Like, I've been with him. Echo, it's like we barely know her. So,
well, and they didn't even get her right.
Yeah,
I mean, they got like the general foundation of her correct, but they got her power set completely wrong.
Yeah. I have a big issue with that because I think her powers are so cool in the MCU, and in the comics. And that's when they first announced her coming to Hawkeye. I was like, whoa, Echo is going to be in live action. And I love her in Daredevil, but the MCU, like the live action version we've gotten, nothing about her seems special to me. Like, what is it about her?
Well, nope, she's got hashtag powers. Let's not forget. Hashtag, you're healed. Hashtag, hashtag Mondays. Am I right? You know,
there wasn't like a defined power set for her. It was like, does she have healing powers? Does she have?
Right.
And then that line of, okay, it's your ancestors that echo through you. And I was like, that's the reason she's called Echo. Whereas
my eyes almost rolled out of my actual head onto the desk. Yeah. And I was like, this is it.
I want to roll my eyes right now, but the doctor said if I keep doing it, my ocular muscles might spasm and eject my eyeballs.
But also, didn't the Hawkeye show, didn't it sort of establish that she was going to take on the mantle of Ronin? Wasn't that an angle that they were going to consider? Because she is also someone who took on the mantle of Ronin in the comics. Like,
she was actually the first person to take on that mantle. So it was like, she would have been great to be that person in the live action to pass it on to. Even if this show was called Ronin and she was going around in the Ronin suit, that would have been cool. But I heard on a podcast I was listening to, and their speculation was, this is not, confirmed by Marvel or anything, but the reason why they changed her powers from the comics, if anyone doesn't know, in the comics, the reason she's called Echo is because she has photographic reflexes, photographic memory and senses where she can duplicate any movement that she sees. And that could be ballet. That could be a classically trained pianist. That could be anything.
A classically trained what?
she uses it for martial arts. And she's up there with Daredevil, with Elektra, like as some of the best fighters in Marvel. So when the show came out, I was like, yes, now we're going to get that. But then it was like, she vaguely has these powers that are connected to the beginning of her tribe and the pool of water that gave her powers. I don't know exactly what.
That was so strange. That show, the way the show started, I was like, what am I watching?
And that's what I'm saying with the 5 episodes.
Yeah.
They didn't get a chance to like flesh a lot of that stuff out.
I think so. I mean, they struggle with character development, and they struggle sometimes with power sets, and they've already, I was going to say a bad word. Stop myself. They've already effed things up with Taskmaster, another example of a photographic reflex style character who they just really crapped the bed with.
Yes.
And
which Taskmaster's a great character in the comics. I love Taskmaster.
So cool.
I was listening to a podcast and their speculation was the reason why Echo's powers got changed from the comics was because somebody thought, oh, it's too much like Taskmaster, which Taskmaster does have the same, like where they have a photographic memory. Taskmaster can memorize any move set you do. But I don't think, just like in the comics, I think 2 characters can have similar power sets and have different personalities, have different styles to set them apart.
Well, let's look at the MCU. Iron Man, War Machine, Iron Patriot, Iron Heart, Rescue. They're all mech suits.
Right.
It's all the same.
Even Captain America. Look at Captain America. We've got from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson and who I just found out, the actor that Schaff hates with a passion, Kurt Russell's son, who played the bad Captain America.
Wyatt.
I didn't know Schaff had a nemesis until last night. I just discovered that.
I only ever did what you asked of me, what you told me to be, and I did it. And I did it well. Shut up. Just be quiet.
But look at those Captain America, like Super Soldier, Serum. They all have kind of similar like either power sets or gimmicks, not Falcon necessarily, but Captain America and having a shield. Like people are not getting confused about those characters. So there was no reason they could not have brought Echo's power set from the comics to the live action.
Mm-hmm. They are afraid to do that, though. You're right, because they didn't make Ms. Marvel. They didn't give her stretchy powers either.
Yes, 100%.
We haven't talked about Kingpin at all.
Well, I was just about to say the things that I really liked about this show were the Daredevil fight, I would say, and the Kingpin. Those are the 2 things about this show that I really enjoyed. And it makes me like a little bit sad to say Echo was not the thing that I enjoyed about this show most, because it's supposed to be Echo's.
But I mean, I hate to say it, and this is no disrespect to the actress playing her or the character, the comic book character herself, but I don't think Echo was ever going to be the draw of this show. And that's
why it was that Kingpin, like you said, his relationship with her, if they could have extended that, like that was the best stuff in this show. If that could have been, let's say, over 10 episodes of Kingpin and Maya going back and forth. And like I said, also building out the side characters, because there was so many characters that we never really got to know who they were. The guy that was I don't even know most of their names. The guy that was in the guy who owned the roller rink, and he was like, he had all this history with Kingpin. Yeah. All of it was just told to you. Like,
that's a great point.
I had this experience, but
that's a great
we
point.
never even got to see a flashback.
Yes. I think that every episode should have had flashbacks to young Maya. I also think that
been great.
We shouldn't have seen adult versions of any of the characters until we saw childhood versions of them.
Right.
As well.
What was
I
his
totally
name?
Agree.
Biscuits.
Biscuits was
we didn't even know who
in the first episode, but we never saw him.
Yeah, we never saw him as a little kid. So when we saw him as an adult, When we saw him as an adult.
Biscuit's going to be so upset that you didn't get to say goodbye. I'm like,
and why was this
Biscuits is a dachshund or something? Like, what's going on?
Did we ever get an explanation? I might have missed it for his name. Did he ever say, well, I'm called Biscuits because I love gravy? Like, what was the deal? What was the deal with Biscuits?
He had an inappropriate experience in the grocery store with one of those Grand's biscuits cylinder containers.
American Pie, but with biscuits. Yeah. Man, I don't...
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
Like, that was
biscuits.
another...
He's just being Biscuits.
All of those characters, and even let's spend more time with the grandparents. Like, to me, by them cramming it into 5 episodes, there were flashes and glimpses of, like, oh, this could be cool. This could be cool. But then we never got, it was almost like they opened the door. Hey, look in here. This might be cool. Okay, close it because we got to go. We got to move on to the next one because we've only got so much.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have expanded upon that. And there was even cool things with the, so the scene when they showed like her history of the people that were her echoes, and they were playing, I don't know, they're playing rugby or something. They're playing pickleball.
Oh, they were playing indigenous Quidditch.
Yes, they were playing that.
Into Quidditch.
And the aspect ratio changed. I learned off of a podcast that's like the IMAX aspect ratio, and it looked great. Like there was a lot of scenes like that where it changed the look of it felt cool. It felt like this is interesting, but then they never went back to that. And I also learned the first 3 episodes, basically, they had used up all of their budget. So the last 2 episodes were a lot of scenes where they're just in the same, it was just 2 people in a room talking. And that we can speculate that the reason why is because they spent all their budget on the first 3 episodes. And
probably
then
that
at the end, they were
scene.
like,
yeah,
there was a ton of stuff that if they had just spread it out, just kind of like let us get a full like thought through instead of just, hey, maybe that half a sentence of this is why Echo is cool. I felt like they just could have done a lot better. And I told you, my biggest disappointment was that last episode, like it was building up to this Kingpin fight and this big thing. And then it just got resolved in 2 seconds. And it was like,
right.
What? And then Kingpin just, all right, go in your Uber Uber Black, like, and get out of here.
What did you do to me? What did you do to me? I know. I'll become mayor. Here's just real quick. I think that one of the issues I have with the character Echo in this show is that even from when she was a child, like in the flashback scenes, you can tell that she's kind of messed up. Like, and I'm not saying,
oh yeah, yes.
Like she went and killed a bird. All right,
yes.
She kills a bird. This is before her mom dies. So this is before she gets, pulled away, just because she wanted to see if she could hit him. Then she wants a certain kind of ice cream from like the ice cream vendor. And so Kingpin starts beating the literal crap out of him. And the girl is not fazed by this at all and proceeds to kick him.
Yes.
While he's down. I'm like, you are a messed up kid. You are a disturbed youth. And not disturbed by this trauma that you experienced from your mom dying. You've just been weird since day one. Like she's just a weird child who turned into a weird, unhinged adult. And it's no wonder that she's fully capable of killing because she had no problems doing it from a young age. So,
and we don't get any of that. Like if we had gotten more of an exploration of why is she that way, and like she's not just good, she's not just black or white. Like there's these shades of gray of morally ambiguous. Like she's not doing things for the right reasons. And then at the end, it's almost like, oh yeah, she's been the hero the whole time, even though she went out and killed all this. Something like if you got to Anakin after he murders younglings and you're like, yeah, he's been the good guy the whole time. He's been great. He didn't just don't think about those kids that he murdered.
Yeah.
That's
There's
what
a gap in your resume.
Yeah. And I'm also like you, Shoff, as well. Like you said at the very beginning, I didn't hate it. It wasn't the worst thing that I've seen, but I want every show to be something that I can tell somebody who is not a Marvel fan, who is not a comic book fan, watch this show and you will love it. Like I have a coworker that he just started watching the Netflix Daredevil. He had I think the Ben Affleck Daredevil was his only exposure to Daredevil. He told me he's I think halfway through the season. Daredevil is now his favorite Marvel character of all time. And I said, yes, this is what I want out of the Marvel TV shows. Show it to somebody who has no familiarity with that character, and now that's your favorite character. That's what I want. I want more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Netflix did a great job. They just didn't do well with Iron Fist, and Luke Cage was kind of a whatever. But Jessica Jones was great. Daredevil was great. Punisher was great. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get some more of that greatness again in the future, and some more great Shoff appearances in the future here in the Vactor-Verse. I'd like to thank you, Shoff, for joining me for Echo. Like I said, it's going to be thin up until we get the release of Deadpool, Shoff. I don't know exactly, but maybe we'll focus more on comic books as the months proceed here in 2024.
Attack
but
the stack.
Woo! Echo was the live action thing that we're getting for a while. So this is what it was. This is what it is. If you have any thoughts, I'd like to know if you loved Echo, if you hated Echo, if you had no response to Echo. Still, I want to hear it in the comments below. Let us know. Shoff and I are both curious to hear what your thoughts are. We always love hearing from you, the person who's listening or watching this right now. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts and opinions. But Shoff, we got to get patented, trademarked Shoff closing. What do you have for this week, Shoff?
Okay, well, in honor of her power set, or her MCU power set, yep, we thought that Echo was #mediocre, and you might think so too.